Well, here we are, guys. 2019 is finally wrapped up, and as the 2010s finally come to a close, we hope for the best for the 2020s. A lot of bad stuff here has happened in the 2010s, but also in real life and in wrestling. And if you want me to count down a top 10 worst things that happened in the 2010s, woo! We'll be here until 2029. So, I'm going to count down the top 10 worst things that happened to WWE in 2019. Honorable mentions go to frequent wrestlers asking for their release, half of the SmackDown roster getting held back in Saudi Arabia, and that horrendous Roman Reigns dog food segment on SmackDown. Either way, let's get started with the real countdown. Number 10. Brock Lesnar wins the Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank match this year, the men's one, in fact, was way too chaotic in the build-up already. First, it was Braun Strowman getting pulled out due to some backstage heat, then replaced with Sami Zayn. Then Sami got taken out early in the night. And so basically it was just a 7-man Money in the Bank match between Mustafa Ali, Andrade Cien Almas, Finn Balor, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, or Baron Corbin. And you're probably wondering who won that match. Did they give it to one of the youngsters like Balor, Ali, Almas, Ricochet? Or did they give it to McIntyre to start his mega heel push? No, they gave it to Brock Lesnar. So in a pointless ploy to boost up ratings, they gave the Money in the Bank briefcase, which is like a predecessor, like a step up to a mega push in the company, to someone who doesn't show up half the time. Wow, what a waste of a match. Hell, they could have had anybody else in that match. I would have been fine with either Randy Orton or Baron Corbin winning. Corbin, really, because the last time he held the Money in the Bank, it was a complete bust. I would have been fine with that. Any result would have been better other than Lesnar winning. Number 9. The Jordan Myles controversy. Independent wrestling fans are familiar with who ACH is. If you watch one of his matches, he is incredibly good in the ring. And when he came to WWE, we all had high hopes for him. Jordan Myles was put in the NXT Breakout Tournament, which is kind of like a tournament for NXT guys who don't get enough screen time, where the winner would win the tournament and a championship match with any NXT Championship won. Jordan Myles won that match. He actually won the tournament and got his NXT Championship match with Adam Cole. But then it happened. The company released a t-shirt for Jordan Myles with some vaguely discriminatory messages. What it was a smile with the words Jordan Myles as teeth. Myles fired back at the company as the t-shirt represented how people looked in the early 1900s, like blackface. And not only that, things got worse when he posted a cussing rant of the company, he quit the company, how he exposed them of being racist and holding black people down. Hello, Kofi Kingston was the WWE Championship right in the middle of this. Talk about wasted potential. Jordan Myles would have been a standout in NXT. But due to something stupid as this, because of him quitting wrestling now, he quit wrestling now. Over a shirt. Something as stupid like this just really displeased a lot of fans. Number 8. Anything having to do with Dean Ambrose. News broke late last year that Dean Ambrose was not renewing his contract, which was expiring in April with the company. And trust me, they hammered that point on with us. Every week they would say, as many of you fans are well and aware, Dean Ambrose is not renewing his contract. Every freaking week. I mean, yeah, we know he's leaving. Stop reminding him of us. One of his work before he left the company was in a intergender match that happened on a house show with Nia Jax, reuniting the Shields for like the third time. Yeah, reuniting like the third time. And he wasn't even on the card for WrestleMania. He wasn't even on the actual card. And makes matters even much worse, his final Raw appearance was Bobby Lashley saying, "When you're gone, I'll be sure to take care of your wife for you." And then leading to him being smashed through the announce table. So, yes, Dean Ambrose's final appearance on Raw has him getting beaten up. And then, just to make us fans happy, to try to forget about that he's leaving, they did a WWE Network exclusive, The Shield's Final Chapter, where Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose took on the team of Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. And that was the last we saw of Dean Ambrose in WWE. But now, Dean Ambrose is doing good things for himself, as he is now rechristened his former independent wrestling name, Jon Moxley, in All Elite Wrestling. So, yeah. Number 7. Bret Hart gets attacked at the Hall of Fame. This year's WrestleMania weekend was chaotic nonetheless. First, there was NXT TakeOver being bumped up to Friday after Ring of Honor and New Japan took over Saturday as they sold out in Madison Square Garden. And on that same day, things took a very chaotic turn in WWE land. While Bret Hart was inducting the Hart Foundation into the Hall of Fame, he was giving his speech, and then he got attacked by someone in the crowd. The fan ran into the ring and tackled both Bret and Natalya. Sure, the cameras caught on TV, but the fan footage shows that this guy did a huge mistake because millions of wrestlers ran into the ring, and even Dash Wilder got a left on him. Or right. But doesn't matter. Either way, I don't get why he would attack Bret Hart. If anything, if anybody should have been attacked on WrestleMania weekend, it should have been Vince McMahon for picking Baron Corbin as Kurt Angle's mystery last opponent. But either way, Bret Hart getting attacked at the Hall of Fame this year was a really, really stupid move by whoever that was. Number 6, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This match was only a one feud joke of a that didn't even need it, that nobody ever wanted. First, this all started when Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live said that wrestling is fake to Braun Strowman, therefore Braun attacking him. And then from weeks leading on to Mania, Colin Jost and Michael Che would be feuding with Braun Strowman, a feud that nobody even asked for. Then things got worse when Michael Che and Colin Jost were put in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Seriously, you could have had anybody else win that match. Mustafa Ali, one of the Hardy Boys. Luke Harper was on there. He wasn't seen on TV for that long. But no, just because of this one joke feud, Braun Strowman and Colin Jost Michael Che were the final three, I guess. And to make matters worse, Colin Jost even brought in his therapy to try to make amends with Braun. What a complete waste of a match, honoring one of the biggest big men in WWE history, Andre the Giant. All for this feud that was never needed in the first place. Number 5, the Rusev, Lana, and Bobby Lashley angle. Why this? So, it all happened on the season premiere of Raw. Rusev was challenging Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And then, Bobby Lashley returned, which we hadn't seen him since August. Or June, actually. No, July. And then, not only that, Lana returned. So not only did Lana and Bobby Lashley return, they proceeded to hug and kiss right in front of Rusev. This is bad writing at its finest. These were times where I actually turned off the TV because this was just so bad. Lana and Bobby Lashley was trying to make Rusev's life miserable. This man and this poor guy was in a marriage where someone he actually loved. I mean, I know it's a story, but I mean, come on, woman. This is the man you gave your vows to, and this is how you treat him? All from fake pregnancies, restraining orders, arrests. I mean, Lana accusing Rusev of being a sex machine, of cheating on her, just all because Lana. I mean, I know that it's a story and all, but I mean, this is just bad writing at its finest. But it's also getting a lot of heat from fans, as fans have been throwing death threats at Lana because of her role in the storyline. And I think they're trying to further it out, but I think that's a bad idea. You see, Lana is the villain in all this, and a villain's supposed to get a negative reaction, which means that the fans are giving her a negative reaction by giving her death threats. And in the company's eyes, they're doing their job, they're getting the reaction from fans, so which is making them want to continue with the storyline. And yeah, they did a recent one with Mike and Maria Kanellis, but because of Mike Kanellis asking for his release, the angle has been dropped. But this one deserves a list because of how bad it is. The Lana and Bobby Lashley wedding is tonight, and I don't even care what's going to happen. I am not interested in this angle at all. I just want this to end. Number 4, Kofi Kingston and Becky Lynch, not your Mania. Even though the fallout from these actions got satisfying endings at WrestleMania, it just bothers you wondering why the company just didn't have them in the build. Okay, let me explain. First, with Becky Lynch, she won the Women's Royal Rumble and was going on to face Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. But because of her trying to be the female Stone Cold, she got suspended and replaced by Charlotte Flair. So then it was Becky trying to get her way onto the WrestleMania card again by just popping up at arenas and demanding her to be put in the match. Even though she did get in the match and she main evented WrestleMania alongside Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. And then there's Kofi Kingston. After his amazing performance in the Gauntlet, in the Elimination Chamber Gauntlet before Elimination Chamber, fans were getting excited because he was actually getting a push for the WWE Championship, where I don't think he's ever gotten that at all in his 11-year career here. So, he didn't win an Elimination Chamber. He was in the Elimination Chamber match, but he didn't win. But he was getting his one-on-one singles championship match against Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. But for reasons we still have no idea, Vince McMahon replaced him, took him out of the match, and replaced him with Kevin Owens. Even though that Kofi earned his way into the Mania spot, well, not actually earned his way, I mean, Big E and Xavier kind of did it for him, but, either way, even though that Kofi and Becky went on to win championships at WrestleMania, it just wonders why the company just should have let them alone. Should have left them alone. Should have kept their journeys onto WrestleMania. Number 3, the Wildcard Rule. This represents all of WWE's problems in 2019. Okay, so first, after not delivering on their new era like I was talking about last year, then there was the Superstar shakeup, and you know how that goes, but that didn't even last an entire week, it lasted an entire month. And then it all started when Roman Reigns said he was going to be on Raw, and then Daniel Bryan was on Raw, and then Kofi Kingston was on Raw, and then Vince McMahon's sick mind came up with the Wildcard Rule, where 3 or 4 guys from SmackDown can show up on Raw whenever they want, and 3 or 4 guys from Raw can show up on SmackDown whenever they want. Yeah, totally. What a great idea to bring the brand split back. You see, the brand splits means that superstars are reserved for Raw and superstars are reserved for SmackDown. But this whole idea, just because of ratings, it just really messed a lot of people up because fans, myself included, forgot what show the wrestlers were even on in the first place. Even though, okay, so in October they had a draft and the rosters are now permanent up until now. But just the Wildcard Rule was just so stupid, and it definitely represented WWE's struggling states in 2019. Number 2, the mistreatment of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's relationship. Had it not been for WWE uploading that video on WWE Now, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are dating, we would have never gotten one of the most disrespectful treatments of a WWE couple. Not since Sable and Mark Miro. So here's what happened. News broke that Seth Rollins posted a picture saying that Becky and Becky Lynch are dating. And I was okay with it because in backstage areas they were doing like small little nods to each other or talking with mute audio before interviews. But then things got worse at Stomping Grounds when Becky Lynch rescued Seth Rollins from an attack from Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Which I was okay with it if they were just going to have them standing on top like that. But then, on the build-up to Extreme Rules, it was going to be Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's and Universal Championship. The match was okay, but then things totally got worse when Brock Lesnar cashed in after Baron Corbin hit the end of days on Becky Lynch. Seth attacked, Seth beat him up, and won the match. While he was about to attend to his girlfriend, Brock Lesnar took advantage of it and cashed in the Money in the Bank and became the 3-time Universal Champion, starting the 3rd Lesnar Nightmare. Had WWE just left it alone, had WWE just left Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch alone, we would have never gotten some of the worst TV time of all time. The fans would have never turned on Seth and Becky, and Brock Lesnar would have never won the Universal Championship. Shame on you, WWE, for taking someone's private life and just exploiting it on live television. Shame on you. And anyway, I feel like Seth Rollins was forced to marry Becky Lynch. I mean, it said that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are engaged. And news of a wedding has not been confirmed yet, but I feel like Seth was forced to marry Becky just to make the company happy. Seriously, WWE should have just left Seth and Becky alone. Before I reveal my number 1, I didn't do it last year for last year's top 10 worst things to happen to WWE in 2018, but I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to talk about something bad that happened outside of WWE. Pac quits AEW. Even though Pac, whatever his name is in AEW right now, this move by him really irritated my mind. So on the road to Double or Nothing, it was set between Pac versus Hangman Page at Double or Nothing. But for reasons we still have no idea for, some say it was due to allegations between contracts, Pac quit AEW right before the first show even happened. I mean, even though he's in the company right now, Pac should have just... I still have no idea why Pac quit AEW, because this turn sent shockwaves for me, because it really, really irritated me. I don't know about anybody else, but he should have just stayed in the company, and we could have had a match of the year between him and Hangman Page. Now, I'm going to do something different out here. I'm going to talk about something bad that happened outside of wrestling in general. Sony versus Disney. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was on shaky legs because due to the fallout from Avengers Endgame, we didn't have no idea how the MCU was gonna was gonna look at on the road to Phase 4. And after Spider-Man Far From Home, Marvel fans, excluding me, got one of the biggest low blows of all time. After Sony pulled out their deal with Disney to use Spider-Man as the rights, Sony decided to keep Spider-Man for themselves, meaning that he wouldn't be used for another Disney movie. But Disney and Sony have agreed to use Spider-Man for one more Marvel film. But even though we still have no idea whose fault this is, whether if it's Disney's fault or Sony's fault. Some say it was Disney's fault because they wanted more money from the deal, and Sony was like, no way. And then, to mess with us, Sony uploaded a trailer for Night Monkey, which was what they called Spider-Man in Far From Home. I don't know if that was to mess with us, but the feud between Disney and Sony over the use of Spider-Man really angered a lot of fans, including myself. And the number one worst thing that happened to WWE in 2019 is Hell in a Cell. Oh, you knew this was coming. I was thinking about putting number 2, the mistreatment of Seth and Becky's relationship, at number 1, but oh no. One pay-per-view, one BS ending, one pick takes the spot. So it was billed as Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship, which was amazing because The Fiend Bray Wyatt was on the career of his life with a character that everybody likes, and the company booked themselves to a corner because fans still say it was way too early to put The Fiend in the title picture. I thought it was okay. So what were they going to do? They couldn't have Bray lose because that would kill his momentum and the fans would be angry. And they didn't want Seth to lose because I guess they saw him as the top star next to Roman. So what were they to do? Well, in the closing moments of the match, Seth Rollins hit The Fiend with a chair, a ladder, and a toolbox. As he piled everything up, the referee begged Seth Rollins not to hit him with a sledgehammer. But when Seth did it anyway, the referee called for the bell. That's right, for the second year in a row, the Hell in a Cell match did not end with a clear-cut winner. Everybody in this match looked bad. Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, even the referee. And the fans the anger of the fans told the story as they fled the arena with chants of BS, AEW, and restart the match. And I'm still amazed by that because 1,000 people were able to sound like one person with the restart the match chants. And even when the show was over, fans were chanting refund. It was not a good night for the company. Seriously, without the entire logic behind this move was really, really BS, as I'll say. Killing the momentum of one of the hottest things in WWE right now, and angering the fans for something that they wanted to happen so bad proves that Hell in a Cell was the worst thing to happen to WWE in 2019. Well, everybody, that was the list. So what do you guys think belongs on this list? Come back tomorrow for the top 10 best of 2019. No, trust me, I found some. Be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, share. I will see you on the next video.